What's up, everyone? Neil Masoy here, sports reporter at the Manila Times, and welcome to another edition of No Holds Barred of the Manila Times Sports. For today's episode, we have on board the last two additions to the Philippine contingent for the Tokyo Olympics in swimmers Gebbie, Remedy Rule. Luke and Remedy sat down with us to talk about their Olympic qualification and preparation for the games in this interview. Hi Remedy, hi Luke. Thanks again for granting me this interview, and let's get the ball rolling right away. It's been a week since your Olympic qualifications were announced. Has it sunk in already? How do you feel right now? How does it feel to be a soon-to-be Olympian? Let's start with Remedy first.
My relaxed state has been elevated just because I've been excited and going to practice. I've felt extra motivated knowing that the Olympics are so soon, and I feel like anytime I think about it, a smile comes to my face.
Yeah. How about you, Luke?
Definitely very excited. It's a dream come true, so I was definitely overwhelmed and excited and wanted to tell my family, but as my coach said, just can't let it get to my head too much, and maybe even relax a little bit or anything like that, because before I knew I was qualified, we were working really hard to make sure I was qualified. Now that I have it, I just had to make sure that I didn't take a step back and instead pushed further to do better at the Olympics. So it's definitely motivating for me. It's definitely relaxing, but now just using it to kind of fuel the flame, go forward.
Where were you two both when you learned about it? What were you doing, Remedy?
I was sitting on the couch in my living room.
I think we were on a call, weren't we? Didn't we figure it out together?
Well, I guess
we had very good indication
because we knew.
We had good indication based on the Olympic qualifying rules that it would be us, and then we kind of asked the Philippine swimming and poked and prodded a bit, and basically they told us without telling us. But we were just chilling. We were on the phone. I was sitting in my living room as well after training. I think both of us had just finished training.
Yeah.
So I was very tired. It was very happy, and then I went to sleep.
Yes, I actually already know how did you guys qualify, but just for the sake of those people who don't know yet, how did you guys qualify? Because it's kind of like a surprise to some people that there are two swimmers that will be joining Team Philippines in the Olympics. So just state, any one of you, how did you guys qualify for it? Anyone?
So the Olympics, they release time standards, an A cut and a B cut, and if you get those time standards, you basically put your name in for an invitation to the Olympics. Both Remedy and I made Olympic selection times in 2 events. I think Remedy made it in like 20, I don't know, too many events. She's good at everything. So we put our names down, and then it goes for Philippine swimming, there's a point ranking system per race. So if I do a time, say 2 minutes for the 100 freestyle, I'll go to the points sheet to figure out how many points I have, and that is essentially my ranking. And the Philippines and most countries send 2 swimmers, the highest ranked male and highest ranked female. So that's how we qualified. So we've been swimming all this year, trying to get our points as high as possible so that we could be number 1 ranked swimmers going to the Olympics for Philippines.
So basically, after the Olympic qualifying rounds, where both of you got your FINA points, right? It's 828 for you, Luke, and 830 for Remedy. Luke, you will compete in the 50 meter and 100 meter freestyle events, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Remedy, you will compete in 200 meter butterfly and 200 meter freestyle. Yeah.
100 and 200 butterfly.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that. Now that we know how did you qualify and you will be competing in the Olympics. Now I want to know, how did you guys got into swimming? When did you start? Were your idols, and why represent the Philippines, by the way? Because you're both half American and half Australian or half New Zealander.
New Zealand, half
New Zealander. So
Remedy,
yeah.
do you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah, Remedy, start first.
So I got into swimming at a really young age. My parents like going on beachy and tropical vacations, and they wanted me to be safe in the water. So I got into swimming lessons about the same time I could learn to walk. And then I just picked it up, and the swim lesson instructor told me that I should do the summer swim team. So then I did the summer swim team, and we had a really great age group coach come in when I was 10, and he helped me kind of find my love for swimming and commitment to swimming. So just since I've been 10, I've just been competing and going. I guess when I was around 10, I had the dream to compete in the Olympics. So that's kind of been driving me the entire time. And then reasons to represent the Philippines is, I feel like it's really cool to connect to different parts of my background, being half Filipino, and just learning more about that culture and realizing, the different opportunities I could have as a Filipino swimmer, and like all the different people I could meet, and also just learn more about myself on the way of where I came from.
Which one of your parents is a Filipino? Is your father?
My
or
mom was born in the Philippines. Yeah, my mom.
And you started competing for the Philippines in
And for
the
me,
29 SEA Games. Right?
yeah. Both of us did, yeah, same time.
Yeah.
2019 World Championships, yeah.
Yeah, our first meet for the Philippines was together. That's when I meet Luke.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
when we
look,
met, yeah, Korea.
take it away.
So almost the same, but very different. So I started pretty young too, and that was basically my love for swimming came. My family, we've always lived in Asia. Like my parents have lived in Asia, Vietnam and Bangkok for about 30 something years now. And so we're always we were always around the pool. We had a pool at the house. We were always around the ocean. The beach was very, very close. So we've always had that connection. So I've always been in and around the water. And so obviously, same as Remedy, you need to learn to kind of be safe. And my dad was the one that taught me when I was pretty young by just throwing me in the pool and watching me struggle, which was fun. And then, yeah, my dad also competed when he was young. He got to like a state level in New Zealand. So I was always watching him, and he was a butterflyer. So he did pretty well at butterfly actually. And I was always really jealous. So I think my passion came from trying to race him every weekend in the pool. And then he put me into lessons when I was like 9 or 10, just to learn technique, no like competitive training, but just so he just wanted me to look smooth and kind of proficient in the water. And it wasn't until I turned 13 and moved from Vietnam to Thailand that I really took it more seriously. That's when I started in my high school there, swimming on the team. And then, yeah, kind of took it away from there.
What's your college team, by the way? It's Melbourne.
My college, I don't swim in we don't have college teams in Australia. It's club teams only. So my club team is Melbourne Vic Center, MVC.
And Remedy, you were from Texas Longhorns?
For the past 6 years, I've been with the University of Texas.
Look, by the way, which one of your parents is a Filipino? Your mother?
My mom.
Yeah. Great. Now we'll get back to the Olympics. Now that you qualified, any pointers from the previous, Filipino Olympic swimmers? Jasmine LKD, like something like that. Jessie Lacuna. Any pointers that they gave you guys?
I actually had a quick call with Jesse after I qualified. He called to congratulate me. And then we've actually set up a call for 2 days before my event. He said just to relax now and keep training, but 2 days before my event in Tokyo, we're gonna call again, and he's gonna give me some pointers. So hasn't happened yet, but you know, he's been like a mentor. He was in SEA Games with me, and he helped me at World Champs before, so very comfortable talking to him, and he's very, very helpful. So good to have kind of like a big brother kind of mentor on that side.
How about you, Remedy? Any
Yeah,
pointers?
actually, the most interaction I've had with the Philippines team as a whole was at the SEA Games. So just seeing how like some of the veterans had carried themselves, and how, you know, they approached their races and just talked about what it meant to them to represent the Philippines. I definitely learned a lot from them there.
By the way, guys, let's start with Remedy. What is the ideal time for you to at least make the podium? And how do you see your chances of achieving that time?
I would have to drop a decent amount of time, but as
Well, just to put it into perspective, for both of our events, the top swimmers right now are on world record pace. And when you think about that, to podium, you would have to be the fastest person in history of our species to get on the podium. So that's really hard in itself. But to even make a final or a semi-final, just say semi-final is top 16 in the world, the statistics of getting to top 16 would be like 0.000000. So I feel like a lot of people sometimes say like, oh, are you going to win a medal? And like, obviously we're going to try our best to break our national records and do our best. But we also have to remember that to get a medal at the Olympics, you're basically the fastest in history. And, you know, sometimes, although we are good swimmers, it takes a whole different person to be on the podium. And those guys are incredible. And I think if I speak for both of us in that our goals are definitely whatever will happen. But I think putting the pressures of the medals on us is quite hard. And I think it's more, can we do the best for ourselves? Can we better our times, lower our national records? And, you know, the priority for both of us, I think, is not really to get a medal. It would be amazing, but we're not putting all of our hopes on it. It's more to do the best for us and inspire the next generation of Philippine swimming. So I think that puts more into context the medal question, just a little bit more. It's tough.
That's well said. You know, for the Olympics, it's probably the top of 0.01%. And then the people who are winning the medals are going to be the 0.001%. And obviously being in the top 0.01% is extremely elite, impressive in itself. But yeah, as far as like the medals go, we haven't quite cracked into that 0.001%.
Yeah, and on paper it sounds very close. Like for me in my 50 freestyle, if I can go 1 second faster, that's, you know, up for a medal. But that 1 second is decades of work, better genetics, taller, stronger. You know, there's a limitation to it. And I'm sure Remedy's 200 fly and 100 fly, they're on paper very close in times, but just to incrementally achieve those time goals is so much work. But yeah, I think, as I said before, the goal is to inspire the next generation of swimming Philippines, which I think Remedy's already done very strongly. And this will be like the icing on the cake, and break the national record, because that would be a dream at the Olympics.
Yeah, so just to let the people know that fraction of a second of a difference, that's a lot of work, right? So
it's a lot of work. It's not just cutting your nails or something like that, or growing your nails out. I think in like, I worked 32 hours a week every week since 2019. And my time in the 50 free has only dropped 0.2. You know, it's really hard.
Yeah, and I think any swimmer, you know, we actually have this thing called like the swimmer plateau where you can go years without actually going any best time. So it is something unique, I think, to our sport, and definitely sport has made me pay attention to hundredths and tenths of a second and seconds in general, unlike any other thing.
Yeah. I think the first
go,
step for us would be to focus on maybe winning a gold medal at the Southeast Asian Games. I think is a more very achievable step for the both of us if it comes to that. I think maybe baby steps before we're at the biggest sporting event in the world. Yeah.
Guys, can you give us a picture of how does your day goes? Like, what time do you wake up? What time do you start training? And what time does it end? How many hours a day? How many hours a week? Just so we can have an idea of how do you guys train. Remedy.
Well, I guess I can just talk about Monday's training.
Just fire them off real quick.
Yeah, I can give you my whole schedule. So I guess what my week looks like is usually 9 swim practices that are roughly an hour to 2 hours long. And then I'll have 3 weight sessions that are about an hour long. And then it's also just what we do outside of the pool really matters to recovery, whether it's, you know, taking naps, sleeping well, eating right, nutrition, maybe getting a massage. And so, you know, some days we have more than one workout. Like yesterday, I had 2 swims and a lift. And so between that, I napped. So that is kind of a rough overview of my schedule.
For mine, I get up at about 5 o'clock, swim. We do dry line on the side of the pool for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then swim for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then, go home, fuel up, recover. Some days I have Pilates in the afternoon for about 45 minutes. Then 3 times a week, I'll do a double session. So I'll swim again in the afternoon. And then 3 times a week, I will also gym after that as well. I do yoga on Sunday mornings and a cycling spin session on Saturdays. That sounds like a lot, but Remedy does more than me. So just keep that in mind. Remedy does more. She does distance events. I'm not built that way. I can't do that.
And you also train in Melbourne or in other places? Or you just in Melbourne? Are you based in Melbourne?
Yeah, I'm based in Melbourne, and I trained, other than my high school, nowhere else.
How about you, Remedy?
Yeah, mainly just the University of Texas. I mean, before that, I had my club team and high school team in Virginia. Luke did visit me for a training camp for like 2 weeks at the University of Texas. But yeah, I guess
we've like done small training everywhere, but base,
consistency is really important with training.
Yeah.
So you want to like stay with your base team.
Yeah. Now this is a bit personal, but you know, it's the pandemic and it's really tough times, you know. Everything seems to be, well, at least in the Philippines, it's really a tough time here. But how you guys have been keeping it together amidst this pandemic? How do you keep your sanity? Maybe Remedy first.
I mean, I would fortunately in the US, it's become a lot more under control, and I know my town in Austin, I think around 90% of people are vaccinated, but I know that's not everywhere. And also at the beginning, it was not great here, not at all. And it was really hard. And I don't think, you know, there's anything that's going to make it easier, especially, you know, some some people just with their health and their lives, how it's affected the whole world. But for me personally, what has helped, you know, at the beginning when it was all happening and there's a lot of uncertainty, I would start and end each day with like a gratitude list to try to refocus on like what I still had versus what I had lost. And then I think acknowledging that it is a really hard time that we're going through, and we're not alone. Like whatever you might be feeling, you know, there's other people out there like going through the same thing, and we're in it together.
And for me, I think, yeah, it was tough in the beginning when the toughest point was when they canceled the Olympics, because obviously we've been training very hard for that. And I think after a very brief period of time, you have to adapt and you have to mentally kind of fortify yourself. And I'm very much a goal-orientated person. So the goal just shifted a bit and I had to plan accordingly. And, you know, I have my friends around me in Australia. Unfortunately, I haven't seen my family in about 2 years, but I've got my friends around me and they were able to support me and keep me mentally strong, and I was able to push forward that way. But it really has been I feel like for me personally, it's just been like a very big mental push for the last year to try and get to this point, and we're finally here. And then after this, I can actually take a break and just take a breath and realize like how hard the last year has been, in and out of lockdowns, swimming in the ocean, swimming out of pools, not being able to swim, not being able to see my family, not being able to leave the country. There's a lot of things that I've just been like pushing down mental health wise. I don't think it's the best way, but just kind of pushing to the side in search of this goal. And now that I've hit it and will go, I think after I need to reevaluate, just, you know, take a breath and recenter.
Anyway,
yeah.
Before I let you guys go, any message to the Filipinos, to the swimming community? Maybe you'd like to thank some people, some organizations that help you to get to this point. I'll give you the remedy.
I guess my first thanks would be to Tita Lani, who you know, helped me be able to represent the Philippines. So just being able to do that, I feel like just it's been an amazing experience representing the Philippines, and I wouldn't have that without her. And then I feel like just my family, who I felt endlessly supported by, and then the University of Texas, both my teammates and my coaches there.
Yeah, Luke.
Yeah, and I think much the same for me. The Philippine Swimming Organization as a whole, very supportive, have always been very supportive, to Tilani especially. The POC as well, we have to make sure we thank them, because without them, nothing happens. And yeah, my friends and my family and my support team, it's super important for me as well. So I don't need to name names, they all know it, but yeah, I think those organizations as a whole, definitely.
Yeah, there you have it, guys. Thank you very much for granting me this interview. It means a lot, you know, for any sports writers to interview Olympians or soon to be Olympians. So it's really an honor. Thank you guys for giving the time. There you have it. Swimmers Luke, Gebbie, and Remedy Rule, the Philippines' 18th and 19th members of its delegation for the Tokyo Olympics. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time here in No Holds Barred of the Manila Times Sports.